Oopsie. Good morning. Hi, Fran. Good morning. How you doing today? Hi, Brina. Good morning from Iowa. Thank you guys for bearing with me and joining in a little bit late. We did go to church today, and it's the church, the school church mass, so it was a little bit longer than I expected it to be. But thank you for joining. Hi, Debbie from Minnesota. Thank you all for joining. We're going to make a really simple, I think, card today. Very pretty card. I'm actually going to share it with you. And this is actually an idea. I know it's, sorry, it's a gigantically printed card. I don't know why it printed it like that. But one of the girls in my stamp group, Mary Beth, sent me this really pretty card. So I thought we could make this today. You could easily whip it into a Valentine's card if you want. Oh, thanks, Ginger. Happy Valentine's. Hi, Ruth. So we're going to make this card today. We're going to make it a little bit modified. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use the new basket weave folder. This is a celebration item. And I actually got this in yesterday. It came in with all my new catalogs. So we can make that today. And in case you guys missed it, hi, Janet. Thanks for joining. Good morning, Karen. Oh, Karen saying good morning to Fran. I'm so glad you guys are all talking amongst yourselves and friends on here. That makes me happy. Bringing people together. And big, I don't know if she's on here yet, but a huge congratulations out to Tammy White. I don't know if you guys have heard, but she sold $2 million. She was the first $2 million stamp seller ever in Stampin' Up's history. So, woo! Congratulations to you, Tammy. Very, very proud to be part of your team. If you want to be part of her team, you would be if you signed up under me as well as a downline. I am in Team Stamp It, which is Tammy White is the head honcho in that. So way to go, Tammy. She has set some very lofty goals for all of us to follow. But happy Valentine's and blessed Ash Wednesday, I suppose you could say, Janet. So thank you. Same to you. My son keeps asking me, when am I going to wash those ashes off? And I said, you don't wash them off. They just have to come off on their own. So he's still having a little bit of a difficulty with that concept, but he'll get it eventually. I know, I'm so proud of her. So, so proud. Happy Valentine's Day, Angel. Thank you so much. So I also got another cool stamp set and I've been waiting for, Dad Jokes, which is hilarious. But the other cool thing is Tammy. There she is. Congratulations, Tammy. We're all giving you a standing ovation. Woo! Congratulations. We love you too. So this is a great one too because I thought, okay, say, as you guys remember, my mom passed away. So I'm not super big on Mother's Day cards, but I still make them. I do still have a dad though, and he would love all these corny jokes. And I thought though, even if you didn't want to do this for a dad, you could totally, like, did you get a haircut? You could just take this part off and put your own little quotes on, or take the other one. No, I got them all cut. These could be easily changed out about anything. I mean, happy birthday you could use, definitely happy Father's Day, but you could just do, I'm hungry, hi hungry, and then you could fill in whatever it was. So that's the cool part about these stamps. You could certainly change them out. So, and the sigh, I think everybody could use that for something. Moms, dads, aunts, uncles, all that, all those would go really well together. So this will be really fun to use. So looking forward to doing something with this. And then I just want to show you guys all these that I colored. I didn't finish them yet, but I have a group project that I work on. So I have my project. I still need to post it. But I did these the other day. And although the guitars, these are Celebration, the guitars and the headset and the sneakers don't have a die, they're really, really simple to cut out. So this is a really easy card. Let me grab that right here. A really easy card to be able to recreate if you wanted to trim that out. And by the way, guys, this is a card that my son colored the other day. He was making cards for people, and this is a super, super old train stamp set from Stampin' Up, and he colored them in. So this one is green like Percy. Can't you tell? But he loves making cards with me, which is really, really cool. So that makes me very, very happy. And of course, I can't find my little tennis shoe card because, you know, I'm looking for it. Oh, well, if I find it before the broadcast ends, I'll share it with you guys. But it is posted. Here it is. It is posted onto my Facebook page, because we made this card last week at card class on Friday, and I was making this card and figuring out what I wanted to do, and I had refilled my crumb cake marker, because you can refill your markers, and apparently it was the first time I used it, so it made this gigantic splotch here. So since it had a splotch right on the guitar, I decided I was going to do another guitar, and then I just fussy cut it. So if you can see that, it's 3D there. I fussy cut it, and then I just put some of that silver metallic thread. So I just covered that baby right on up and then added a whole bunch of splatter. So it kind of looks like that splatter is supposed to be there. So, but this is a really fun set to use. And then I didn't put anything on the inside of this one, but you could easily add the tennis shoes or the headset to it. Or if you wanted to, you can even do the Country Livin' stamp set. There's a different guitar, so you could do those guitars and then put like something, if you wanted to handwrite something about, you know, your classic and your electric. I don't know, something like that. Of course, now I have the electric slide boogie woogie woogie in my head. But I made these the other day, so I colored all these in. I just have to cut them out. And then I also got a hold of, don't mind this, I stamped upside down, the Cottage stamp set. This is actually a Hostess stamp set. This was so fun to color in. So what I did is I did this with watercolor pencils, and then I added a few touches of the Stampin' Blends. I did the same with this as well. Some of these I colored in with watercolor pencils, and then I kind of went over some of the areas with the Stampin' Blends. You can see from the back which ones I did. They look so cool though. I mean, it's really a very simple addition, so I can't wait to do this cottage thing. And I kind of figured if I colored this, I wanted to practice, I could always rip it out so it looked kind of country, and then rough the edges up a little bit and add it to something. So, oh yeah, Brina, you can refill your Stampin' Blends. I'm going to tell you, I'll show you. It's not the neatest process. It's really not. But let me pull up my sleeves. Luckily, I am wearing black today. But what you need is your, I'm not going to do it with this one because this is new. It should be pretty juicy. You need your Stampin' Right marker, and then you need your refill, okay? So basically, what you do is you could do this to both sides because it doesn't go down the whole thing. It's just a well in each one. So if you have your, and again, you might want to put gloves on when you're doing this, but my fingers are always usually so inky, it doesn't matter. But you take the cap off, and then you would take the pen tip. If you wanted to do tweezers, you could. Excuse me. And then all you do is you're going to pull out the tip. Okay, so you're just going to, here's the tip. Oh, I'm not even in the camera. I'm sorry about that. You're going to pull the tip, and you're just going to set this down. You're going to grab your ink refill, and you kind of have to eyeball this. I don't know how full it is or should be. Excuse me, got a cough from all the people at church, I guess. But you're going to take your refill and you're going to dry. I usually just do 3 because basically you just kind of want to wet that nib. So we'll just do, I'm just going to do for now just 1. So you'll take that, and then you take your point and you put it back in, and you kind of want to push it just a little bit. You don't want to push on the end because it'll smush your tip, but just slide it back in, and then that's it. And you definitely are going to need to clean your fingers off. Now when you do the other side, and then also you do want to store these flat. Only that way, hold on, let me put this cough drop in. Maybe that'll stop me from hacking. I don't want to cough the whole time. When you store these, I kind of stored these like the blends. I store them flat because I've noticed before if I had them like this, that all of the ink, excuse me, I'm sorry, all of the ink goes down to the bottom, and then your tip is really, really, really dry. I need to get myself back in view here. Hold on. I'm doing this a little bit out of view. I keep showing you things that aren't in the view. Sorry about that. So if you keep it like this, your tip will dry out. If you keep them flat, it kind of keeps it even. And then when you do the other side, you just open it up. This one's a little bit more difficult to pull out with your finger, so I would definitely say to have a tweezer. But you're just going to grab the end here. Well, of course, this one isn't a grippy tweezer. Maybe I should grab it with my mat.
Cough you.
Thank you. Cough me. I guess that means bless you, but in coughing form. Oh, of course, I can't get this out right now. It does come out really easily, I swear. I just did this one the other day with this. Let's see if this one works. This is the one that messed up my card. I think I just put lotion on my hands. If you can see, the drip is down there. Well, let me see if I can get it out one more time. If not, you're going to just have to take my word for it. I promise you can take them out. They're just, there we go. This one was the one that I overfilled. As you can see, it's still leaking ink. So be careful. If you have to err on the side of caution, put like 3 drops in the brush tip and maybe only 1 in the pen tip. But you're just going to pull this out. And the same thing, this has a pretty long nib. And then you would take your re-inker, which this is green, so I'm not going to put, you put like a drop of that in. Just like that. And then you just push your tip back in. And then you should be able to use it again. This one didn't seem to re-ink very well. Excuse me. I think it's because it's so old. And I waited a really long time. The other thing you might be able to do... Excuse me. Let me take a drink. Sorry about that. Which might be worth trying. I gotta tell you, raspberry cough drops and coffee are just a wonderful combination. I might be able to, I'm gonna have to look into this. And you might be able to research maybe, and I'm gonna try this, taking the nib and sitting it in the ink and seeing if it will draw any up from it. Because it kind of looks like it's in a well, if that makes sense. So I'm going to look into that and see if I can find anything else about it. And then I'll report back to you, if not earlier, by next week. But basically, yeah, so you can re-ink these. You definitely can do the brush tip. It absolutely works really, really well. This one's a little bit more strange. So I'm going to keep this on the side because this one is pretty dry. And I'll see what I come up with. But anyway, enough of a sidebar. But thank you for asking, Brina. That is a fantastic question. And some hot tea with lemon, I know, right? If I just lost my train of thought. When I come up with the other solution for this, for the other tip, I will definitely let you guys know. So, in case you missed it, Paper Pumpkin, they are having a huge special. I don't have the right graphic here, but they're celebrating the 5th anniversary of Paper Pumpkin in the March kit. So you have to subscribe before March 10th to get that kit. But it's going to be a special kit. It has some sort of a free gift in it. I have no idea what it is. They said it's like a $6 to $8 gift. You remember when they put out the one that Sarah did? She gave out those little mini watercolor pencils. So I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. But the kit is going to look different. It won't be orange. It's going to be a special kit. It's supposed to be super, super fun. But you have to sign up before March 10th to get the kit. So if, for example, you sign up now and you redeem your code now, you will get the March kit. So you can do it as soon as you want. You just have to do it before the 10th or else it doesn't work. And then you won't get the kit in time. So make sure you do that. And if you get a 3-month prepaid subscription through Paper Pumpkin, you do get one celebration item. And then same thing, you have 6 and 12. There's specials for all of those. Okay. So if you have any questions about anything, celebration, signing up as a demo, having a club class if you happen to live in Northern Baltimore County or Hartford County, please feel free to shoot me an email. I don't want to keep telling you the same thing that I did not that long ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the basket weave folder. This is actually a new celebration item that will be coming out Friday. There is a stamp set that coordinates with that. It's a basket. It's really pretty. And those two are actually a combo. So you get the embossing folder and the stamp set. It's for $100 celebration. And then they also have a beautiful paper that has it has like rose gold and silver. Beautiful. It's one-sided designer series paper because of all the metallic stuff in it. But it's gorgeous. And then there are a couple other things as well. But what I'm going to show you today, we're going to make this card. And this is another thing I was working on. Just sidebar. Can you tell I haven't talked to any adults very much today? I did this with embossing powder. I'm sorry, embossing paste. And what I did is I used the masks. This is the medallion mask. And I did some of it with a Island Indigo tint. And then the rest of it I kind of went with white on it. So even though it doesn't really have a white. But this is so pretty. So I haven't made this into something yet. I was just fooling around with this the other day. And then my friend Anka, who lives in the Netherlands, did a beautiful card. And I kind of tried to copy it, but I don't think I did such justice to it. With Brusho, and this is on glossy cardstock. Super, super pretty. And then at the end, I wasn't thrilled with it. So I kind of did a little bit of a splatter technique. But I was just kind of fooling around with this last night. This is another Brusho. No, this was direct. I'm sorry. This was direct ink pad to paper, and then I used a little bit of refill. So there's lots of different things. I also did it with the Stampin' Up markers. I was just fooling around and made a plaid background. I do notice that I did this with a ruler, and the ruler was dragging the line, so it was kind of smearing it. So you can do this. This is, again, glossy paper. This is with the Stampin' Up marker. So there's lots of different stuff you could do with it if you play around. And, I mean, if you don't even like these, you could cut this circle out and just make a background out of it. It would be really pretty. And then another technique that I saw was actually using the Stampin' Spots on glossy white cardstock. And these, they showed you because they were smaller. So what you do is you open your spot and then you kind of drag it. You could do this with your ink pads as well, but it kind of gives you that really neat swirl technique because these are so tiny. So if you're looking for something else to do with your Stampin' Spots, you know, all you have to do is you just cut it open, whatever end it is you're going to cut open, and then you take your spot and you kind of drag it on there. You can make all different swirls. This was a really pretty card that I had seen on another demonstrator's blog. It was really pretty though. Another way to use the glossy cardstock. Okay, so for this card we're going to do today, I'm going to do a pool party, I think, background. Yeah, we'll go with pool party. And I already have one cut, so that's good. So I have a pool party background. And I'm going to stick with the crumb cake for the basket weave. I'm going to change this out from the dots to the basket weave. If you don't have the basket weave yet, another really great one you could do would be the wood planks. Beautiful one. This is a dynamic folder, by the way. Both of these are. So they're going to give really, really deep ridges, deep wood planks. So if you don't have that, you could use this one. Or you could also use the, I think this one's called Sparkle. I could be wrong, but maybe it's Faceted Gems. But these actually, they're a little difficult to see, but they kind of remind me of Snow White. They actually have little gem indents, kind of like a diamond would. So you could use this one as well. Just a couple different ideas if you don't have that yet. And then I'm not quite sure yet if I'm going to go with the linen thread or with the jute, which is really cool because we can rip either one of those up to kind of mimic this. And then we're going to use the absolutely gorgeous Waterfront stamp set. This has got to be one of my all-time favorite stamp sets, truly now. I love this one. I love the Magical Day, too. Don't get me wrong. But we really made a gorgeous, gorgeous sympathy card the other day at Stamp Club. And here it is. Beautiful. Look how beautiful that is. The hardest part was the fact that I had stamped this on a pretty big sheet and then I had to settle on how I was going to cut it out with a circle. So, but I used the wood Designer Series paper stack in the background and then added this to the inside. Thought it was really pretty, very simple. And you could completely change the sentiment. If you didn't want to do this as you could just be thinking of you or miss you. I mean, beautiful, beautiful stamp. I love this. Okay, Debbie, you can catch it. It'll be on the replay later. No worries. Everything reloads back to Facebook. So if you came in late or you have to leave early and you have to come back, everything will be here. So no worries about that. All right, so I have a piece of cardstock. I'm going to trim this down. So it's 4 by 5 1/4. And then the only thing is, if you do want this to be deeper, to have deeper grooves in it, you can wet it first. Now, I don't want to do that because I don't want to make you guys wait while I get water, but if you wet this, it will actually help the fibers to bend a little bit more. So all you have to do is just fill up a Stampin' Spritzer. This is filled with alcohol. And you spritz it, and that way you can wet it, because you don't want it soaking wet. You just want it kind of like slightly damp would be the best thing. So let me move this out of the way. We'll do this first. Since I have my new, I have a new thing that I think everyone on here has probably from IKEA. It's a little cart that you can actually flip one of the trays upside down to hold your Big Shot. So it makes it super convenient. Plus I'm not clunking things anymore. So I think that's probably a little better for you guys. So I'm just going to line this up kind of in between. And again, this is a thicker embossing folder, okay? So if you have your original platform, you're probably going to need to go down to the base. If you have your regular platform, you may only need to use one of your, just maybe use your top plate. Because this is much fatter than a regular embossing folder. I'm just going to go back since I didn't wet it. No need to do that. Just kind of easier for me too, the way I have this set up. But look at that. It's beautiful basket weave. So if you were to wet this would actually stick out very three-dimensional. And it would be really, really deep groove. So that's a really cool technique to use if you haven't done it that way. Just spritz it with a little bit of water. We'll make it really, really deep and give it way better definition. Okay, so here is the basket weave. So we're going to put that right on top of our pool party panel. Try saying that 3 times fast. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab a piece of Whisper White. And again, we're going to cut this out. So it doesn't really have to be a full panel if you wanted to. However, if you really like it, you might want to end up keeping a bigger one just because you may end up not cutting it, which is what I thought I was going to do the other day. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the water. So this is going to be the water. And we're going to use the land. So you could do this one for the land. I can't wait till my Stamparatus comes in. I still haven't heard anything about that. I'm so excited to use it. And then we're going to use the houses. So we're going to keep the house out. And then we're going to also use the palm trees. I'm just going to pull those out. So there's 2 palm stems and the 2 trees. And we're going to just do the sunshine. So I'm going to move this over. And thank you, Mary Beth, for sharing this idea with me. I'm sure she's probably tickled. So I'm going to put the palm trees on here. And I'm going to put the tops of them on another one. And we'll do a little one for the sun. And the house, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet with the house. If I'm going to do one of each or just do some monotone houses. So what I'm going to do first, whoops, is I'm actually going to start first with the water. Kind of that way I know where I want to place it. So again, I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to stick with, just to stick with the base color, I'm going to do Pool Party for the water. Thank you guys for sharing. I really, really appreciate it. It means that you can find me easier. Because sometimes Facebook changes things and you think, oh, I followed Rachel. Why didn't it tell me she was live? But they change things, I think, based on what they think people want to see. All right, so we're going to go with some water. Oops, a little piece of saran wrap on there. And with the photopolymers, you want to make sure you either have a mat or some thick piece of paper underneath, and you want to give it a minute for the ink to transfer off of the stamp and onto your paper. So if you ever notice when you stamp something, if you stamp it and it's kind of only partial, the ink actually has to come off of the stamp onto the paper when you use photopolymer. So it does take an extra minute or so for the ink to transfer. So kind of, you can always flip it over if you goof up, but that's sometimes people expect that it's going to be like the red rubber stamps, and it just takes a little longer. But the good part about photopolymer is you can see exactly what you're doing. And so if you were to make a mistake, you can line it up exactly and restamp it, which is good. And they're also a little bit cheaper, so you're able to support your stamping habit a little bit easier. All right, so now I'm going to do the beach. Now when I do the beach, instead of stamping it, I'm actually going to use my markers. So I'm going to use Crumb Cake, and I'm going to use a little bit of So Saffron. So I'm going to color this in with the markers, just to kind of give like a different feeling of the sand. You could even do this with pink sand if you wanted to and pretend like you were in Bermuda. I've never been there, but one of my friends brought me back some sand. I do collect sand. So she brought me back some sand from a trip. So I'm kind of just adding this So Saffron just in spots. And then I'm going to huff onto this and stamp it. And again, just give it a minute for it to transfer. All right. And now I'm going to do my palm trees, and I think I'm going to do them in soft suede. You could do more than one if you wanted to as well. Just depends on what you want to do. Put them on there. I've got a little bit of a ditzel because of the way it stamped, but that's okay. And then I'm going to do, so for these, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to do Old Olive. Actually, no. I'm going to do Tranquil Tide and a little bit of Lemon Lime Twist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Tranquil Tide more on the inside here. So kind of go out a little bit. And then the same thing. So kind of more on the center of the palm tree and a little bit to the edge. And then I'm going to just add in the Lemon Lime Twist with the brush tip just kind of to the edges just to fill in the color. And it kind of will give you like that multi-dimensional feel with your stamp. Gives it a little bit of depth. And if you don't like it, you could always do it one. No big deal. Same thing. I'm going to huff and then stamp. Pardon me. I'm going to try to line these up a little bit. And you do also want to, I kind of was a little rushed here. You want to kind of make sure you pick a stamp that matches your block size. But look how cool that looks. So it really looks 3D because it's got a lot of different color tone in it. All right. So now we have our sunshine. So I'm going to do crushed curry and a little bit of pumpkin pie for the sun. Other thing you could do if you wanted to right now, which maybe we can do this just a little bit. You could put in a little bit of sponging, which she did for her card over the sky area, just to fill it in a little bit. So I'm going to put my sun back here. Very pretty. Let me grab, oh, hopefully without making a mess, I'm going to grab a Stampin' sponge. And these do come in 3-packs. This is just a half of one. They usually come in wholes, and what I'll end up doing is cutting them in quarters. That way you can have 4 different ones. And if you're really trying to not wash out your sponges, you can actually use all the different sides of it. I've done that before as well. So take your sponge and just very lightly, this is soft sky, I'm going to just go over just a little bit, just to kind of bring in a little bit of the horizon. Doesn't have to be a whole lot. And I'm going to do just a little here at the bottom, just depending on where we cut. All right, so just a really, really, really light bit of soft sky on there as well. You can just barely see it. Now we're going to add in our houses. So, houses. I'm going to do them in, I'm going to do one in Dapper Denim. Actually, I'm going to do them both in Dapper Denim. I don't know why, but I'm going to do them in Dapper Denim. I really like Dapper Denim. This is one of the colors that could be retiring soon. It is an in color, and we don't really know. There is there's always a possibility they could change the colors next year, and that this could be one of the new colors in the catalog. But there's also the chance it will be gone forever. I know we probably are possibly due for some sort of a little color refresh. Yesterday, Tammy did a really great video. So if you want to see all the products, I should say, that have an in color in them that are going to be retiring, she had an excellent video, because there's a lot of like little things in card kits and designer series paper and everything. So it could be carried over. Never know. However, could be also not carried over. So I'm going to just take my Stampin' Right marker, just because I stamped this just a little bit off, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the bottom, kind of like it's built into the sand here with this one house. There we go, just like that. And then what you could do if you wanted to is you could take your crumb cake marker and kind of fill it in like there's a little bit of sand behind it. So just kind of, if you make a mistake, you could even add in another palm here, like a really tiny one, since this was starting to draw something in. You could add a tiny, tiny palm, just like with a little bit of green on it, like it was just a baby one that really didn't end up growing very tall, but kind of looks, you know, you made a mistake, so just work with it and make it your own. And then the same thing again, instead of using, this is, what am I? This is Sierra Sand. That's why I was looking for crumb cake. I knew it was a little bit different. I'm going to actually take the Sierra Sand and just match just a teeny bit here of the water. So it kind of looks like there's that wet sand look, like how you get when the ocean washes up onto the shore. Just like that. You could also, if you wanted to, if you still have a white gel pen, you could add a little bit of white gel pen, like the froth of the ocean here. I always like doing that. So it kind of gives you that water line as if the ocean is hitting the shoreline. But again, this is pretty much done. I'm not going to do too much to it at this point because I don't know how big my circle is going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this out and we're going to stick it all together. Let me just grab my circles. I thought I had them here with me, but apparently I moved them. I swear I'm still here. Yeah. Oh, things are falling all over the place. Heavens, I got my ovals. I missed my circles. I don't know where I put my circles, so we might have to go with a square or an oval card today, because I put my circles somewhere, of course, that I can't find. So we're going to do that. So instead of making this a circle, we're going to make it, I haven't decided yet if I want to do an oval or a square. But let me move these over, put this away so I can bring my big shot back over here again. Put this to the side. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my biggest oval, which that doesn't look so bad, and then I'm going to take my biggest square, and we'll see which one we like better. So these are in the layering ovals and the layering squares. There's also layering circles, which I have somewhere. I just don't know where I put them. So you could either do the oval or the square. And if you did the square, I think it would kind of look like a picture, but it's cutting off a little bit too much. So I think I'm going to go with the oval, just because I was prepared for roundness. So we're going to do the oval, which we're going to lose a little bit of ocean, but that's okay. We'll work around it. So I'm going to grab my Big Shot one more time. And if you have the magnetic platform, you could use that as well. However, if you do have any sort of a pacemaker, make sure that you're very aware you should not be using the magnetic platforms. They do have that in the catalog, but I think sometimes people forget. So I'm going to kind of just position this, put that up there so you can see, position this over, just like that. And I'm going to add my top plate, just like so. And I'm going to just crank this through. All right, and that crack just means it cuts, doesn't mean anything is wrong. So here we have our little oval that we cut out. It's the rest of our scene as well. And what I'm going to do is, while I have this sponge handy, I'm going to just sponge the edges with a little bit of soft sky again. So I'm just going to take my sponge from earlier and just go all the way around the edges. Kind of just makes it stick out a little bit more. And since you do technically have water and sky, it's similar color, you could just sponge a little bit lighter when you're doing the top part if you wanted. And of course, before we put this on, I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to the water. So just give it a really pretty shimmer. And you could make this into, like I said, you could make it into a thinking of you, miss you, hey, we're going to be going on vacation soon card. We need some stamps to say that. Or, hey, when are we going on vacation card? Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of my, I think I'm going to go with the jute, because I really like this. Now, if you wanted to, if you want something a little more frayed, you can just kind of pull it apart. You can pull some pieces off of it. So what you'll do is you'll just trim through. You can grab like your paper snips and just trim through these little bits a little. Kind of loosen it up some. And let's see. Let me just trim this a little bit farther, just so it goes down through the middle. That way I have enough to work with to get all the way around. I really love this stuff. I'm glad this was kind of a hangover, I think, carryover item from the holiday catalog. No. Pull this apart. Okay, so if you didn't want to, also, you really don't have to wrap this all the way. You could kind of tie it in a knot and wrap it through the back. You could kind of tie it together if you wanted to. It really just depends on what you want to do with it. So I'm going to just nip this off. I didn't really give myself a whole piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nip this off and then kind of pull it apart and wrap it around from one side to the other. So I'm not really using a whole piece to tie around the back. So I'm going to just take probably about 6 of these. I will tell you though, when you cut this up, it is a little bit messy. So you can wrap it. Oh, geez. Sorry about that. You okay, bud? Yeah. Ooh, sorry about that. The wall just shook. Oh, you sure?
But the first time I went to give you a kiss, though.
Are you okay, though? You didn't fall? You jumped? Sorry about that, guys. All right, so I'm going to wrap this around the back by using a little bit of Fast Fuse. And just in case you missed that, Fast Fuse is going to be being discontinued in the next catalog. I'm not sure what they're going to come out with yet, but I know it's going to be something awesome. So I'm going to just kind of put this around the back and then wrap around the front. And put that just like that. And then what I'm going to do on the back of this is I'm actually going to just pop it up with some dimensionals. Thought he fell off the bed there for a minute. Have like the, you know, when your kids are doing something else in the room, all of you moms out there, and you have that heart drop feeling. That's how I am right now. It's almost like the very first time I ever did a Stampin' Live right now, because my hands are a little shaky. But I got over that very quickly because you all are so nice and kind. They do kind of look like grass skirts, that's true. All right, one more. All right, so we're going to put this right here onto the front. Let me make sure I have this folded. All right, right onto the front, just like that. All right, and then we're going to just attach this on there as well. Now, another thing you could do, if you wanted to, which I was talking about the embossing paste, if you want to have a little foam, you could take some and just put it right on the edge there, and it actually will foam up. You can heat it and it'll get puffy. So that embossing paste, if you don't have it or you haven't really played with it, you really should try it because it definitely has a lot of really cool attributes to it instead of just embossing paste. And then we're going to put that right on there. Just right on there onto the front of that. And let me grab my bone folder, just give this a nice crease. All right, there you go. So if you wanted to, you could add like a little button. We have these cool buttons again. You know, I'm a fan of these buttons. The True Gentleman buttons, you could add a little button to that if you wanted to. You could somehow wrap that into the thread. You could wrap it through. Probably could do that if you wanted to. You might need a needle for this. But you could bring this through and bring it onto your card front, just with a little bit of thread through it, so it could kind of tie it together if you wanted to. That way it wasn't just like the button randomly sitting there. So that's something else you could do too with your buttons. You can actually get the threads to go through them. These have 4 holes, some of them have 2. You could add some rhinestones to this. You could add your metallic sequins. These are always really fun. I've been putting these on everything lately with the fine tip glue pen. Or you can leave it just as it is, or you just even add your sentiment to it. But a really simple card, again, using the Waterfront stamp set. This is really such an absolutely beautiful stamp set. I really, really love it. It has so many possibilities. You can make this into a lake. You know, it doesn't need to be a beach, as I did with this one. It was kind of like a lake because you have the grass on both sides, so you could add the grass. Lots of different things you can do with it. You could also make this so it was the sunset. So really, really pretty cards that you could do with this Waterfront stamp set. Definitely one of my favorites. And thanks again, Mary Beth, for the idea for that. A really beautiful and very simple card. Still not sure what I'm going to do for next week's cards. If anybody has any suggestions or anything they want to have looked at. I'm still kind of working on the brush show with the with the glossy cardstock. That's a really fun one as well. And again, we will do a drawing tomorrow for this. Not sure what I'm going to give away yet. I do still have some Celebration glimmer paper from last year. I have some ribbon. I have a lot of fun stuff. So make sure that you guys leave a comment, and I'll continue talking for a few minutes in case you decided not to say anything. But make sure you leave a comment, and I will pick a winner by a comment drawing, which I will do tomorrow afternoon, and then I'll post it. All I'll need you to do from there is just send me your contact information so I can mail you out the prize. But anything you guys are working on, want to work on, looking forward to, I'm really looking forward to the new spring stuff being used because I really, really am ready for spring. I know it's only February, so it's really a long ways off, but I know, Janet, this is a beautiful set. I like all things beachy and water, so when I saw this, I saw the water, and I thought, well, I had to have it. But I know a lot of people really didn't. But I mean, look, mountains you could do. I also have one, which I don't know where it is right now, but I did one even that had a volcano. I mean, that was really cool. Somebody on here gave me that idea, so I do have to say thank you for that. That was an incredible card idea with a volcano. But there's a lot of different things that you can do. Here it is. With this stamp set. This one I kind of wanted it to be like it was a postcard coming back from Hawaii. So this is a beautiful card as well. That's why I like matted it with the thin black and then did the volcano on it. But such a cool idea. And there's a lot. You could do this with a lake card. Something else I wanted to tell you guys. I was thinking of earlier.
I saw a truck.
Okay, I was thinking of earlier is... Where's that embossing folder? All right, I don't have this set. But if you guys have the Colorful Seasons stamp set, let's see if I can find this real quick. I thought of a great thing you could do with the basket weave because it has those coordinating dies that go with it. Let's see if I can find it. You could actually make this into your seat back. I think I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah. So you could make this into your seat back for your chair. You could make this actually into your seat back if you wanted to for your Adirondack chair as well. But what the heck is it? It's the one where it's the beach chair. Colorful Seasons. I believe that's what it's called. Colorful something or other. 147. I was so close. This. So this stamp set here. And this also has some coordinating dies that go with it. 216. Got some brand new catalogs. If anybody's watching and you don't have a catalog and you like one, feel free to send me your full mailing address and I will send you one out. So this has that little Adirondack chair. But if, for example, you wanted to stamp this little seat that goes with this guy here, so you could stamp it in, say, whatever color, and then you could run your stamped cardstock through the basket weave, and it would look like a weaved back to your chair, to your beach chair, or your slingback chair. I don't know what they call those. They were like a fabric chair. I actually still have one downstairs that opens with the woods. Those are really, really pretty. So it's like something else you could do with the, oh, and the Moana card. Thank you. Thank you, Janet. That card was a beautiful card. I will tell you, it was not my idea. Someone else gave me that idea with the beautiful you, but my niece, actually my niece Harper got that one. She loved that card. That was a gorgeous card, and I love Moana. Actually, we're going to watch Moana tonight, as a matter of fact. We're going to watch that while we eat dinner, so that should be fun. Watch the ocean. That's what we like to do. Yep. So thank you guys always for watching. Yeah, the chair idea I thought was a really cute idea, because I was like, that'd be something else you could do with your basket weave, because it would be really beachy, or you could do it like a lake chair. You know, a lot of people have those kind of chairs, like at a lake house as well. I don't have a lake house. Tammy lives on a lake, so I think Tammy needs to make one of those cards. Or maybe I should make her one for the $2 million sales congratulations. Now I got to order that stamp set and dies. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you would like a catalog, make sure you send me your full mailing address. I'll be happy to send you one. You can also subscribe to my newsletter if you send me your email address. And you just need to send any of that information to rachthestamper@gmail.com, or you could send me a message here on Facebook as well. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Wednesday, if not before, and I will be back next Wednesday at regular time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have an awesome day.